Hello, welcome to another battle report. This is a 3,000 point match of Warhammer Fantasy between my Empire army and Anthony from the Sustainable Center's Warriors of Chaos. We use the Battleline deployment, and just a quick comment on the board before we put any models on it is that everything's pretty much as it appears, except for those hills with rock formations. The rocks themselves are impassable. The hills surrounding them are totally just, regular hills or whatever. I had a little subtitle for this, for this battle, and that would be rational actors, as in the thing that me and Anthony aren't. This will become more apparent, and I'll talk about it later. But just a real quick bit. For the purposes of this, I'm going to say that a rational actor is a person that seeks to maximize what they get while minimizing what they have to, what it costs to them. So just a person that engages in cost benefits analysis. That's just like sort of the theme, I think, for this battle. So, all right, moving forward. Here's deployment. Here's just a long shot of the table. Anthony, I believe I won the role to go first and place the Pistoliers first, and then we alternated from there. Here's from Anthony's perspective. As you can see, he had four dead drops, basically the Hellstriders and the dogs, before he got to something that was influenced based on my drops. He also had the two Hell Cannons, which are off frame to the left. So 5, I would say, total drops, or maybe 5 or 6 total drops, where they could have been put down anywhere, and it really wouldn't have made a huge difference. So after I had deployed most of my army, he was able to really heavily weight his left flank, and you can't see it, but you'll in the summary of the armies, I'll go through it. You can see it really nicely. He puts down, probably like 1,500 points on the left flank and 2 units of cavalry. So it's like I felt pretty well out deployed in this match. Now, a lot of my artillery doesn't really care about distances, but in terms of the distribution of my infantry and stuff, I didn't feel like I had a solid matchup. Here's my list. I would not recommend pausing it and trying to read into it. I've been doing some job training this week that has me away from my computer, so I don't have access to my to any of my files or any like the spreadsheets or the PDFs or anything I use to build lists during the week. So I kind of had to do this one like really quick and dirty. The only things I believe I did for this was I eliminated the handgunner unit. I eliminated the the captain with great weapon. I gave the warrior priest. He's not an archlector. He's just a regular warrior priest. But I gave him the heavy armor with the 5-up ward save. I gave the inner circle knights the steel standard, and then I bought a level 2 wizard who'll be using the lore of metal for this game. I think that's really the only changes I made from the list I used last time. So from left to right, we have 4 demigriffs with a musician, 5 pistoliers with a musician, the artillery battery, which consists of cannon, hellblaster, and master engineer. The master engineer is located directly behind the hellblaster in his picture, so he's out of sight. Then 29 swordsmen, with 2 detachments of 5 archers each. In that block is a level 4 wizard's Lore of Heavens. He has a Dispel Scroll and nothing else. Then I have the parent unit is 28 greatswords with 2 characters, the warrior priest who's acting as the army's general, and the captain BSB, who they both have ward saves, and that's about it. The 2 detachments, the one on the left is 15 Free Company Militia, the one on the right is 15 swordsmen. Behind the woods is the Celestial Hurricanum. In the woods is another cannon. You can't really see him because he's obscured by the trees. And then on the right side, I have 11 Inner Circle Knights with the Steel Standard, an attached Warrior Priest who has a 1-up armor save, and the Steam Tank. And the Steam Tank especially, I just did not have any space to deploy it on my battle line. It was one of the last things I put down because I was trying to use it to counter Anthony's heavy cavalry. And I thought about actually deploying it in the front of my line horizontally and then moving it forward like that, but I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of gamey to put it directly in front of some of my other infantry blocks. And it also, if I didn't win the roll to go first, meant that like the Hell Cannon would be super effective targeting that because it would hit my blocks and it would hit the tank at the same time. So I was really at a loss what to do with it, so I dropped it off on the flank here. Anthony, of course, countered by putting nothing near it. So My level 4 had Harmonic Convergence, Curse of the Midnight Wind, Urnon's Thunderbolt, and Chain Lightning. 2 magic missiles or direct damage spells is really nice, and then the 2 hexes and the augment are both really good. So I was very happy with the spells that I had for this matchup. The level 2 Metal Wizard had Searing Doom and Final Transmutation. I think he rolled up Final Transmutation and the -1 to your weapon skill and armor save hex, and so I just swapped that for Searing Doom because Searing Doom's awesome. Here's Anthony's list that he took for this match. You can pause it if you want to take a prolonged look at it. Pretty much, he has a blog that he's been updating, and he talks about this kind of stuff. Pretty bare bones on the characters. They're just there to stay alive and walk forward. The big change is the choice to take 11 Inner Circle Knights. That unit comes to like almost 500 points by itself. It has an exalted hero who rides a on a barded steed with a shield and the Iron Curse icon and the Crown of Command that goes in it. So, that is a heavy unit. That unit is worth a ton of points. Maybe not 1,500. Maybe I was exaggerating. Oh, I forgot about the 2 Hell Cannons are right behind him on that flank. So so that flank has the 2 Hell Cannons, which are over 200 points apiece. It has the 4 Skull Crushers, who are like 300 points or something ridiculous, and then it's got the big brick of Knights with an Exalted Hero in it. So that's a very heavily weighted flank. Going from left to right, you have Anthony's unit of halberd wielding warriors with the flaming banner. He's proxying these Bretonnian cavalry models as Hellstriders of Slaanesh. They do have whatever the upgrade is that gives them always strikes first. There's the brick of 2-hand weapon warriors that has the level 4 Lore of Nurgle wizard and has his BSB Exalted Hero. 2 units of Warhounds. There's the big brick of Knights in the woods. 4 Skull Crushers with a musician, and then 2 Hell Cannons. One is an actual Hell Cannon model. The other he proxied as just a blank base because Hell Cannons that's an expensive thing just to buy and try. So we're just going to proxy it. His level 4 has Miasma of Pestilence, Blades of Putrefaction, Rancid Visitations, and Fleshy Abundance. That is, he has an augment spell that makes anyone in base contact with that unit weapon skill and initiative is reduced by D3 or by 1. That's pretty good because anything that would have been hitting the warriors on 4s will probably get reduced down low enough that it'll be hitting them on 5s. Blades of Putrefaction gives things poison attacks. That's actually pretty good. It's not as cheap as it probably should be, at least in my opinion. Rancid Visitations is a magic missile, and Fleshy Abundance is an augment that gives a 5-up regen and can be bubbled 18 inches out. Every unit within 18 inches gets a 5-up regen. Very good spells. The Vanguard movements like so. Oh, one quick note. I don't think the spells were a bad choice, but Anthony was is missing out on the ones that he really wants from the Lore of Nurgle. So Anthony was pretty bummed out about the spells that he had available. Okay, so I think Anthony wins the Vanguard move. I forget. Anyway, the Pistolers move up. The Hellstriders are 12 inches away from them, and on the other flank, the Hellstriders just go 12 inches straight up to get in the win. Turn 1 Empire, I win the roll to go first. I declare a charge with the Inner Circle Knights and the Hellstriders. They flee. The Steam Tank generates 4 points without incident, but gets like a very short movement. So between the failed charge and the Steam Tank movement, everybody's very slowly coming in on my left flank. So that doesn't bode well. Pistoliers move up between the Hellstriders and the 2 units of Hounds. The Hellblasters deployed pretty much 24 inches up. The only thing that's in range of it right now are the Hellstriders, so I have to do a little bit of let's see what does what during each phase to maximize what I can shoot at. The Pistoliers have 2 targets that are within their optimal shooting range, the Hounds and the Hellstriders, and if I can't kill the Hellstriders with my other shooting, I'll use Pistoliers. If I can, the Pistoliers will shoot at the Hounds. The rest of the army is pretty much where it needs to be. I move up the Demigryphs to give them some options, and the Skirmishing Archers, move forward. I deployed the Metal Wizard way too far back. I don't know why. I really don't have a good explanation for that. I didn't know what to do with him. This is the first time I've taken a level 2 in addition to a level 4 for this Empire army, so I'm a little not confident with using him. Pardon me, I just lost my train of thought. The level 4 with Heavens is within 24 inches to use Chain Lightning on the Hellstriders as well. So we're going to see what happens with that. I attempt to cast Urnon's Thunderbolt on them. I think because my intent is to... I forget why. I think I just led with Urnon's Thunderbolt because I wanted to draw out Anthony's Dispel dice. Get Irresistible Force, roll an 11 on the miscast table after causing like no wounds with it. I think I roll like 1 strength 6 hit and rolls a 1 to wound. So that was pretty much a tremendous waste of time and effort. I lose Urnon's Thunderbolt and I lose Harmonic Convergence, and my wizard drops to a level 2. This is a pretty terrible way to open the game. So, you know, this is when I want to start to talk a little bit about the rationality of what's going on. I haven't lost like any of my shooting potential at this point, but I'm already feeling like the game is turned against me in a big way, and I'm not happy. The games I've played in 7th and 8th edition that have been huge blowouts against me have traditionally been games where I've lost my wizard and I lose that ability, and I feel like I feel like I lost my left hand or something like that. It's very, very hard. So at this point, I'm already starting to feel like the game is slipping away from me, which I feel in retrospect was kind of irrational. And I started to play a very defensive game at this point because I feel like I'm outmatched in the magic phase. Now, we saw Anthony's list of spells. They aren't heavy hitter, game-changing spells. So even if he had free reign and I had no wizard, I don't really think it would have been that big a deal. But that's just what, you know, I'm kind of like I'm shooken and I'm off my game right from the get-go. One cannonball hits the, I think it's from the cannonball from the steam tank, hits the warrior unit and kills 4 of them. Actually, yeah, I think I forget how I did that. I think maybe it was at an angle, because I know you can only hit 1 per rank, or maybe Anthony had a guy in the back rank that he picked up first. That's probably it, because it looks like his back rank is complete. Because it would have been, yeah, it would have just gone through and hit all 4 then. Okay. I put a cannonball through the right side of the Slanesh Knights, and it clips the Hell Cannon in the back and kills a handler. I think I only killed 1 knight because it bounced up too far. The nice thing about the Hell Cannons is they are like really, really easy to hit with cannonballs. I would say that with the base that size, it's like, unless you misfire, you are going to hit a Hell Cannon with a cannonball. The Hellblaster volley gun opens up on the Hellstriders, gets like 26 or 28 shots, something ridiculous, and annihilates them. Everybody passes their panic checks. The Pistoliers then put their shooting into the dogs. The dogs just, you know, blow 2 leadership 9 with reroll checks for panic and flee. They flee through the 2 hand weapon guys who passed their panic check for that, and they're going to be, and I think they flee right off the board from there. And that's about it for the shooting. Magic otherwise was like completely ineffective. I got nothing else off, or maybe I lost all my power dice. I don't really remember. Either way, that was that. And then the shooting was as I described it. This is the board going into Warriors of Chaos turn 1. Anthony blows a leadership check on one of the Hell Cannons, and it rages forward a couple inches. He charges the Warhounds into the Pistoliers. The Pistoliers stand and shoot and kill 2 Warhounds. They pass their panic check from that and complete the charge successfully. He slowly advances the Slanesh Knights out of the woods to avoid dangerous terrain checks and puts Miasma of Pestilence on them as to disincentive a charge against them with the Demigryph Knights. He fires the Hell Cannon. I think 1 scatters and 1 lands on target and kills the Hellblaster volley gun. And this provokes panic checks from everybody in the area and panics the level 2 wizard, who flees like 8 inches back, does not go off the board, but is now like really out of position, which sucks. Yeah. The Pistoliers take 2 casualties in the melee with the 3 dogs, but kill the dogs entirely. And here's the board going into Empire turn 2. You can see that the Skull Crushers had advanced pretty aggressively on the right flank. They're partially on that hill. The Knights held back to you know, countercharge the Demigryphs. Demigryphs, I think, cannot fail that charge. I don't think it's possible. His Hellstriders did rally and moved like so. So, yep. I declare a charge with the Demigryph Knights, and they're in on the Skull Crushers. I advance the Skirmishing Archers up to try and plug up that flank to keep Anthony out. This is not something I really would recommend because it's very sensitive to angles. I have to position the archers in such a way that they are in the way, and you cannot complete a charge on the knights without touching them. But then it must also be done in such an angle that the overrun from the knights butchering these archers takes them away from the combat with the demigryphs, because if that is done incorrectly, Anthony can choose to resolve the combat with the archers first, and then overrun into the demigryphs and have the knights fight twice in one phase, that way. So that's the concern I have there. Also, I didn't move the archers up aggressively enough during turn 1, so I don't have enough movement to really get them where I need them to be. That's the best I can do. So, yeah, all right. The demigryphs got to win this one, because if they don't, they're going to get punished on the flank pretty hardcore by those Slaanesh Knights. The rest of my battle line moves up pretty forward. The steam tank generates points without incident, but again rolls like 1-1-3 or something like that, something ridiculously short for his movement. The nice thing about it is, with Anthony's taking the 2 blocks of Chaos Warriors towards the center of the table, I have a flank shot with a cannonball, which is always delicious. Let's see what else is going on. Nope, the other skirmishing archers move towards the center of the board so that they can play games with the infantry. And I could have charged the Hellstriders with the Inner Circle Knights. I probably should have, but I didn't. I wanted to bring my heavy cavalry closer to the center of the table. So I let him pretty much advance unmolested with those Hellstriders. During the magic phase, I attempt to cast Chain Lightning. I miscast, get a 4 on the miscast result. Do not get sucked into the warp, but kill 10 swordsmen and put a wound on the level 4. I roll a 1 for the number of hits with the Chain Lightning. I roll a 1 to wound with that 1 strength 6 hit, and then it does not bounce to any other targets. That's magic in Warhammer Fantasy, though. So moving right along. Fire a cannonball down the flank. It bounces up way too far, but it does contact 1 warrior and both of Anthony's characters in the front rank. He makes his Lookout Sir with the level 4. He fails his Lookout Sir with the BSB. The cannonball either fails to wound him or he makes his board save. I actually think it was that I successfully wounded him and he made his board save, because that would have been pretty cool and would have scooped up some points right there. But instead, we only take away 2 Chaos Warriors from that. So, oh well. The other cannon misfires and will not be shooting this turn or next turn. The Demigryph Knights perform really well. I'm very lucky with my armor saves. He gets almost all of his attacks first. The only thing I think is he misses some Juggernaut attacks in initiative. But yeah, I think it goes like the Skull Crushers are initiative 5, the Demigryphs are initiative 4, the Knights are initiative 3, the Skull Crushers are the Juggernauts are initiative 2. We both cause fear. I take 2 wounds. I do, I think, 5 wounds to his unit when it's all said and done. I have a charge. Anthony is testing on a 4 from Leadership 8, and he gets it. Oh, all right, that really sucked, because now I'm going to have Slaanesh Knights on the flank, and that's going to be the end of this unit of Demigryphs. I did deprive the Skull Crushers of their frenzy, but I don't think it's going to make a big difference. And that's exactly what Anthony does. You can see that he has enough room to get in and wheel. He will not be able to bring all the knights into base contact with the Demigryphs, but he's going to get like 4 models and his Exalted Hero plus 4 supporting attacks. So this is really suboptimal. The Hellstriders declare a charge on the skirmishing archers. Their movement 10, so if I flee, he's almost definitely going to catch them when he can, and successfully complete the charge. So I just choose to hold. Given that he's attacking my flank with that, he's going to get all of his attacks in, but I am within range of the BSB and the generals, so there's a definite chance there. So I feel like holding's the right thing to do. His infantry blocks pivot to face my steam tank, Pistoliers and Inner Circle Knights. Anthony's not going to let me get another flank shot with a cannonball in this game. And he fires his 2 Hell Cannons. He puts the first shot on the center of the Inner Circle Knights. It scatters 8 inches onto the Pistoliers, kills 2 of them. The remaining guy panics and runs away. Then he fires his second Hell Cannon shot onto the Inner Circle Knights, kills 3 of them. They blow 2 Leadership 8 panic checks and flee. through the Hurricane, which passes its check. So like, okay, now I'm really kind of concerned. The Hurricane's in the way of them now, but that'll be easy to remedy. It's more that I don't really have any hitters on the flank besides the steam tank who's really more of a logjam than anything else. I don't really have I don't really have any punches to throw on my flanks anymore. So that's good. So now, again, to go back to our theme of rational actors, I'm feeling like this game's pretty much, in the bag for Anthony. The Skull Crushers and the Slanesh Knights do a number on the Demigryphs, who then break and flee off the table. They flee from the unit with the most ranks, which I think is I think they kill another Skull Crusher as well. So the unit with the most ranks is the Slanesh Knights with 1 complete rank in the front, and they flee off the table. Both units pursue and catch, and that's where they come to rest. The Hellstriders kill the archers. I think one archer kills a Hellstrider. I think the one guy who attacks kills a Hellstrider, which is amusing. And they break the archers and pursue like so. So here's the table going into the beginning of Empire Turn 3. I do have some things to do. I do have a level 4 who still has a direct damage spell. I do have a level 2 who's perfectly poised to use some of his spells on those heavy cavalry units on the right side there. The Inner Circle Knights rally, the Pistolier does not rally, the Steam Tank rolls like I think 10 inches up and the Hurricane hides behind it. The rest of the battle line kind of shuffles a bit like so. And here's the right hand side as well. I think I moved the level 2 like the minimum distance to be in range for a Searing Doom. And here's just a long shot of the table to show how it looks from this perspective. Magic Phase I get like a 2, no channels, and fail to cast Searing Doom. Okay, shooting I have 1 cannonball shot, which I think kills a handler on one of the Hell Cannons. I think the Steam Tank fires its cannonball and kills maybe a warrior or something like that. I don't remember. I don't think the Steam Tank had a meaningful shooting phase. The skirmishing archers turned around to shoot at the Hellstriders, didn't cause any wounds. The cannon on the right had misfired and couldn't fire this turn, and the cannon on the left, I think, just killed a handler on one of the Hell Cannons. So, very unimpressive magic and shooting for turn 3, and this was a turn I really needed to start putting pressure on his units to pick up some points. Now, we're going to come back around to rational actors. I'm feeling, perhaps irrationally so, based on the number of points that I've lost, that I'm in, this game's in the bag for Anthony. Anthony, on the other side of the table, has a tremendous fear and respect for the Steam Tank. So he does what he thinks is the correct thing to do, and I was a little flabbergasted by this, and we were joking about what we thought like the people who watch these videos were going to comment on with this. But Anthony turns around and books it away from the Steam Tank with those 2 units of warriors, including level 4. Now, he's identified that most of his magic won't make a big difference. I think he had tried to cast Rancid Visitation on the Knights, and the Knights took 0 wounds and passed their first toughness test. So his only ranged direct damage spell, he's given up the idea of casting it, and he doesn't want to be in the fight with Steam Tank. Now, at the last game, the Steam Tanks, rolled like a champ, killed like 11 warriors on the charge. And then they still held it the whole game and never broke. So I don't share his I don't share his tremendous respect for the output of the Steam Tank, because I've also had charges where I've done like 0 wounds because it's like 3 impact hits and I failed to wound or something on something with better than a 4-up armor save. So this is one of those points where I just simply did not agree with the decisions he made, but I wasn't going to say anything because that was probably the only thing that, these decisions were the only thing that kept me hanging in the game. But Anthony, turns and moves and takes his Chaos Warriors basically out of the game. With the Swift Reform and backing up like that, they're not going to be in position to really contribute to anything. So it's Anthony's 2 cavalry units on the right, the Hell Cannons, versus the rest of my army. There you go. The Hellstriders zip around to the back to threaten the cannon. The 2 units of heavy cavalry Swift Reform and move towards the center. Anthony's shooting, I believe, scatters or is largely ineffective. We go into Empire Turn 4. The steam tank moves, pinches in towards the center. I'm not going to bother spending any time chasing fleeing enemies, so I go after those guys. But I think I only use like 1 steam point or 2 steam points because I want to use the long distance cannonball shot to try to contribute to that. The skirmishing archers move up to bottleneck them and give me some more time to shoot, and everybody else pivots and starts to pull in. Here's a different perspective. I don't know why I took this picture. Oh, maybe it's to show that I moved the wizard up so that the wizard can start threatening them with his spells. Magic, I think I get off a big Searing Doom with the level 2 on the knights, killing off a bunch of them. I think they only have like the front rank left now. I fire Grape Shot with the engineer's ballistic skill 4, and we kill the Health Striders. I fire a cannonball and it kills one of the Skull Crushers, and I think that explosion on the Slaanesh Knights is just to show you that the Searing Doom had gone off. And they both pass their respective panic checks. Going into Warriors of Chaos turn 4, Anthony declares a charge on the skirmishing archers with the remaining Skull Crusher. I hold. He declares a charge from inside the unit of knights because they can't complete a charge without touching the archers. He charges the Exalted Hero out of the unit into the cannon, which is a really ballsy move. His angle is such that when he overruns, he's going to end up actually behind. He doesn't, a straight line won't take him into the flank of the swordsman, which is probably for the best anyway, because the swordsman would take a couple wounds. Maybe he could kill the level 2, but then he'd probably end up breaking from that. But yeah, so that was pretty ballsy of him. And here's what the table looks like after his movement. The Chaos Warriors just continue to book it out of the game. So, okay. The Skull Crusher breaks the skirmishing archers, does not take them below 25%, however, so they're going to be able to rally. He chooses not to pursue because he doesn't want to be pulled out of position and have to deal with any of my units that are coming from the left flank. The Exalted Hero butchers the engineer and cannon and then overruns and ends up there. So here's the board going into Empire turn 5. Here's after movement. I continue to pull my army from the left side to the right. I always do this. I turn the Free Company militia detachment to face the exalted hero, like completely forgetting that he's like movement 6. He's like movement 14, I think. He's M7 with his march move. So there's no way he'll still be in their front arc after he's moved. But I don't know. This is a mistake I make like every time. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. In the magic phase, I cast Final Transmutation with the level 2 and kill off 3 more knights. They both Anthony always does this where he takes his the stupidity checks and stuff immediately rather than wait to the next phase, but he passes both of them anyway. The steam tank fires a cannonball. I think kills 1 more Slaanesh knight. I don't think it was. I can't remember if it was a flank shot or if it was a head-on shot. But either way, I had high hopes for this phase and picking up all those knight points, but I'm not able to do so. I think I tried to cast Searing Doom and just didn't get it off, or Anthony dispelled it, and then was able to cast Final Transmutation. Over here, this is the beginning of Warriors of Chaos turn 5. The Exalted Hero zips around. As you can see, I can't charge him with the Free Company militia because I didn't position them right, and he's going to threaten and pick up those cannon points on turn 6. Over here, he takes the Slaanesh Knights as far away as he possibly can, and he moves the Juggernaut around that impassable terrain rock formation in order to protect him from the Inner Circle Knights. Beginning of Empire turn 6, I generate some steam points and send them into send the steam tank into that last Skull Crusher. I continue to advance towards the knights with the level 4, and I turn the level 2 to try and pick up the points on the exalted hero because I'm not optimistic about catching him with the cannon. This I kind of feel like was a bad triage decision. The level 2 was really the best tool for eliminating the Slanesh Knights, and the Slanesh Knights are worth way more points than the Exalted Hero, and we are very close to a draw at this point, but I was more, I just kind of like, the mental math I did was that the Exalted Hero was like 200 points. I don't think he actually is 200 points, he's a little cheaper than that. I don't know. But it was 200 points plus the cannon that I was going to lose versus the 400 and something points for the Slanesh Knights. So I figured that I had the level 4 who does still have Chain Lightning, and I had, I don't know. It was just, I feel like, looking back on this, I think that this was the wrong decision here. The cannonball fires from the... I try to cast Searing Doom on him. I roll like a 3 for my Winds of Magic dice to try to cast Searing Doom on the Exalted Hero, and Anthony dispels it. Or I don't even get it off. It's something like that. The cannon fires a single cannonball shot at the Exalted Hero, hits him, kills him, and he doesn't pass his Iron Curse icon ward save. So, okay. Disaster averted. In this particular circumstance, Grape Shot would have been probably the wrong choice because I don't have a engineer there to influence the ballistic skill of the cannon crew, and he was at like max range, so it would have been hitting on 5s. So, 2-shot, if I roll like a 2 for the Grape Shot thing and hitting on 5s, then the Exalted Hero will definitely pick up those points. So I just took a gamble with the cannonball and successfully killed him. And the steam tank goes apeshit on the last remaining Skull Crusher and blows him away. So here's the board at the end of Empire turn 6, going into Warriors of Chaos turn 6. And Anthony just kind of brings these guys around to look here. He fires both of the Hell Cannon shots, I think, at the Wizard, and scatters both of them and doesn't cause any wounds or anything like that. Pretty sure that's what happened. So here's the board at the end of the game. It is like 700 points for Empire versus like 650 points for Warriors of Chaos. And unfortunately, like, this was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was very tired. So Anthony was like, oh, how many points did I get? And I added up the artillery battery that he picked up and the skirmishing archers, and I like forgot about the demigriffs, and I also forgot about the pistoliers who had run off the board like at some point. So I told him it was like 300 to 700, which like was totally not right. But I was really tired and not thinking right. But yeah, so it's definitely a draw, and I like looking back on it, and so like a lot of times we had decisions to make here and allowed stuff like irrational fear of the steam tank, irrational decisions about wizards and the relative power of like shooting and stuff like that to really influence our decision making in this game. And I see like so many missed opportunities for both me and Anthony. And that's all. I just hope you guys enjoyed the battle report. This did come down to a draw, less than 100 victory points either way. Yeah, it was a fun game. It was pretty intense. It was just like totally a game of psych outs and stuff like that. Hope you guys enjoyed the battle report. As always, any comments or stuff, just leave it below. Anthony has also already uploaded his report of this game as well, so you can see from his perspective on his channel, The Sustainable Setter. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good one.